Okay, so I'm here outside of the red brick house, and some of the things that I've done, at least to originally get started on here so it didn't look quite as bad. The windows had been boarded up, and I actually took some of the window sashes, the original ones that were messed up, and I rebuilt them, put new glass in there just so we could get that look at least back to it. The front door that's over here, believe it or not, that was actually made out of lumber that was actually underneath the house. I took that back. I built that door about 3 years ago. And you can look as we go. In fact, I'll bring you on over here. The biggest problem we had when we first got it was the foundation was crumbling. So I had a brick mason who came in, and this is actually lime mortar, which is to the period of the time of the building. And we've gone through and repaired it. Now, interestingly enough, when they built these houses back in the day, they didn't believe in the frost line so much. So the foundation is actually not that far down. Now, what happened to this house is when the gutters, and we got to redo the gutters, when the original gutters were messed up, the water kept coming down through here and it undermined the brick, and we're going to have to go through here and point all of this up with lime mortar. If you ever deal with an old house, don't ever use regular mortar, because the mortar today is hard. The lime mortar actually will move and will expand and contract, and allows moisture to go through. Painting brick is actually not a good idea, except with the new paints that they have for brick, because they breathe. What happens is, and this is what happened, because they painted this and then they had the moisture that came down on here, it undermined it, it made it crack. So we had to go through, and I found bricks from my friend in Culpeper, Alex, that are Williamsburg bricks to fill in. So we took care of that problem here. Again, this is one of the windows that we're going to have to go back through, and we have to actually get rid of all this lead-based paint. The up underneath of here, this is one of the things that we were able to do, at least before we were able to get our building permit while we were working on it. We ended up taking out the old tongue and groove boards that were falling out and rotting out. We put new ones in here. So we'll go through and we'll actually get this painted. We'll make the trim to go up on here, and we'll actually heat treat and strip all of these. So here it is. This is actually the door that we made for here, and you can see all the wormholes and stuff that were in the original wood, but it is a solid oak door. Now, prepare yourself, because we haven't been able to do anything on the interior of it other than to demo it. So, as we get in here, you'll see these are brick walls, and you can see where some of the parging has actually come up off of it. We will go through and reparge the walls, because this is the historic part of the house, the original part that was the schoolhouse. And we'll do the same thing with the lime mortar. Fortunately, I actually have plenty of 2x4s that were left over from a project that we did. We know how much 2x4s are these days. Down here, the flooring is actually 200-year-old antique heart pine, which is about as, you can't find that wood anymore because they're old growth trees. Now, this is where it gets to be hairy, and this is work to do. One thing, these things are only like 6'2" tall, and you can see how narrow they are. See that wood jam? This is the width of the bricks. Now, the problem we have in here is, you can see over the years a lot of wood that's actually rotted out. That and this also steps down, and we're going to have to rebuild this roof up here. So this is going to be changed a bit, just a little bit. What we're going to do is, this is actually going to be the kitchen. We still have this old cabinet here. We're going to make it so it's like, we're going to get an old ice chest and maybe make it into a refrigerator. We're going to put in a new doorway here, and we'll end up putting in a porch. But what we're going to probably do is we're going to reverse. That will become a window right there. A stove will go there, so you'll be able to, excuse me, the sink will go over there, I think. And we're going to reconfigure it a little differently. The door will actually be here. But instead of us having this drop down that's in here now, since we have to go through and rebuild this porch roof and things, we're going to go ahead and raise the floor up, so that way this is all consistent. So you can see a little bit better in here we'll end up cleaning this off because this is original. We'll need to run new wiring and stuff. We'll put in new outlets and plugs and things. The old panel was actually in the basement. We're going to actually put it so it's actually inside there, the kitchen, where it's more accessible. And the floor, you can see, undulates quite a bit. And so we're going to have to go up underneath the floor. We're going to have to jack some of this stuff up and relay, basically build another floor in between. One of the many fireplaces that are in here, you can see all of the original flooring. That's 200 years old. What I want to do is I actually want to keep this stuff open on the floor so you can see the original electrical wiring and stuff that's in here, just to keep that in, just so you have an idea of what it was like. So we have our front room here. The building itself is 30 feet across this way. This section of the house is 18 foot on the outside. On the inside, it's more like 15 and a half because, again, these walls are thick. And again, this is one of the original doors. Unfortunately, this is lead paint, so we have to be real careful with that. One of the windows that I have yet to rebuild. And you can see we've structurally, taken all of the plaster and lath that was in here before. So we have a nice open space. In here, in these sections, it'll be a little easier to work with because we'll go through, we'll run our new electrical and plumbing and stuff in the walls, be able to insulate it, and then we'll just drywall. Now take a look at these dimensional pieces of wood. That's some solid ass wood right there. But we're gonna end up having to reframe in between that because we need a little bit more support on it. One of the cool things is you look over here, like this built-in cabinet where they literally was a window originally. This would have been a window when the place was built, and they decided to make this into a cabinet. Now we're gonna have to go through and point this up and make sure that structurally that this is still sound, because this is, one of those walls that this cabinet may be holding it up. As we go through, you can see what I'm talking about here, where you have the step down on the floor right here, and this doorway. This doorway here is literally right here. So this will be one of those things that we bring that floor up to meet these floors. And we will go through. We've got a nice little porch back there. We've got a nice closet right in here. And what's probably going to happen, or what we'll probably do, is this will become our utility closet and heat pump room. So we'll put in the hot water heater in here. We'll end up putting in a heat pump to service this lower level. So what we'll do is we'll actually run the ductwork up underneath the house, so that way you won't see any of the soffits or anything like that. It'll end up being just done, just so you don't notice it being here, because you wouldn't have seen ductwork. Of course, we have this old clawfoot tub, and my friend Jet, who does bathtub refinishing and stuff, I'm going to get him in here to work on that. So we'll have the clawfoot tub up in here. We'll have a nice, we'll have a toilet over here. We'll have a good sized vanity in here. This will be actually a really nice bathroom. And we'll have a shower, maybe a shower head that's above. And we'll do the circular curtain. Make it really kind of quaint. And of course, there's a screened in porch in the back, which is actually pretty nice. And as we go through, this is the lower level, and you can see that this is actually a nice space. It's actually a pretty good space. Then, the reason I love this so much, the old staircase. This is still solid. Really, really solid. And this is the wow for me. We got a bunch of work to do in here, but again, the stucco all through here is actually not that bad. We have another old fireplace in here, of course. We'll fix the stucco on it. We will maybe do this as a gas insert, but you can see that is all the original brickwork for this. We have a closet, and we took out, there were walls in here to make this one bedroom, then this was a hallway. That was the entrance for the other bedroom, and this was the other bedroom. But originally, this would have been one big schoolroom space, and we wanted to do that as well. The thing for me is I love the wood right here. That's antique heart pine again, huge beams. You look at the spans that's in there. I want to be able to see those. And so what we'll do is we'll actually sheathe the floor above that with tongue and groove boards. We'll go through, we'll insulate up in there so that way we'll be more energy efficient and we'll have this nice look of the ceiling here. And then we have here, this is another bedroom. And what we're going to do is we're going to reverse what we have a little bit here. This will be a closet. It'll just be a smaller closet. We're going to push some of that back. Of course, the windows, you can see how low these windows are. This is actually one of the sashes that I rebuilt. I just haven't put it in yet. And you can see that's the original board right there. That's a new piece, that's a new piece, and that's an original piece. But from the look standpoint, it looks like the same type of board. And again, we'll need to shore up a little bit more in here, because what we'll do is our other heating unit will go up here to actually service the space. It'll be actually pretty easy for the heating air conditioning guys to be able to run the ductwork right on through and then drop a couple of registers around without losing any of this beauty. This beauty is just incredible. Just basically punch a hole right on through here where the roof lines meet. So that'll make it easy. And since we have the space up here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put another bathroom in here. So we're gonna end up taking and we'll put a shower unit right here. We can put a vanity set like right here, and we can have the toilet there, and we don't lose too much of the space. I'm still playing with that idea in my head. We may end up kind of changing that a little bit more, or reconfigure it a little differently, just to give us a better look than what we have. Hell, for all we know, we might switch up and put a big shower downstairs and bring the clawfoot up here. But we'll figure that out as time goes on. But then this ends up being, a really nice bedroom right here. You'll have more lighting, of course, once we open up that over there, window over in here, and once we open up this window, there's a lot of natural lighting that's actually in here. And so that's what we have with the house right now, and we're going to go through and get this place rebuilt and give it a new life. Now, a couple of things that we won't have to do. The way the heating worked in this was there was a furnace underneath the other floor downstairs, and this would have been a vent for the heat to rise up into the space here. Down in here, you can see where our roof right here is going to need to be reframed up. We're basically just going to take all that off, rebuild the floor, reframe up the wall there, and then put in a new roof on top of it. So this is the project. This is a piece of history. What I love is when I get this built, this is the bedroom. Not a huge bedroom, not a huge bedroom at all. In fact, it's kind of, with the chimney right there, it's kind of a pooch screw that messes up the space. But putting a bed along this wall, having the bathroom over there, and pushing that closet back over there, I might even change that layout a little bit more so it's just a smaller closet. And then you have the access and the view from there, because the sun rises right over here. In fact, what I love is in the evening, it sets right over here. And you can see how the lighting comes through here. Once the railings are being rebuilt and put back in place all the way around the stairwell right through here, we end up having that tongue and groove beadboard above there. You see, of course, all of these beautiful beams. We get the stucco finish, and this place painted. This will be a great place. And I know people will definitely want to come here because of the history of it. So that's a look at Mark and Tracy Holmes's old house. Oh, and one more. This is the wood that came out from here. And we're going to be able to reuse a lot of this wood for building stuff in here. Some of this is antique heart pine and things like that. They literally framed up the walls in here with antique heart pine. And so when you start looking at pieces like this is actually really, really beautiful once you get down into it. And so I'm excited as can be to finally be able to get in here and start to work on this. What I do have to do while I'm here is I have to do a layout for the city. It's one thing that they needed to see is a complete layout of the place. And I said, even though we're not changing anything, they said, well, we still need to see the layout of exactly how it's going to be or how it currently is. Funny thing is because it's so old, there are no real records of anything in here or any plans of any magnitude because it is old. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I hope you guys join me when we start rebuilding the red brick house. See you soon.